What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. I'm Michigan Sports Talk here, and in this one we're going to be talking about some coaching staff news as Michigan has hired a new defensive analyst and a new graduate assistant. We're going to be going over those, plus Michigan officially hires Greg Scruggs and their new general manager, and we're also going to be going over the NFL Combine, including how some Michigan players performed, who stood out the most, and also what J.J. McCarthy and head coach Sherrone Moore said on Michigan continuing their success. It's all going to be in this video and more, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Alright, so Michigan football has officially hired some coaches onto their coaching staff. And there's also some new additions that we haven't heard of. The first one was Michigan new defensive analyst Kevin Wilkins. Obviously, Michigan is set to officially hire Don Martindale, also known as Wink Martindale, as its next defensive coordinator. He comes from the New York Giants, and he will be Michigan's next DC. And Kevin Wilkins and Wink Martindale have worked together and coached together for a long time and at multiple stops, as Wilkins has worked with Martindale since 2015 on both the Ravens and the Giants. Now, he did talk about Michigan potentially hiring Drew Wilkins as their next linebacker coach. However, obviously Michigan now has Brian Jean-Mary coming in to be their next linebackers coach, which basically all worked out in the end for Michigan. But Drew Wilkins is the brother of Kevin Wilkins, and both of them were defensive assistant coaches with Wink Martindale. Now, Michigan recently did lose analyst Doug Mallory, so Sherrone Moore obviously had to replace the whole defensive coaching staff plus analyst Doug Mallory, and Michigan will now have Kevin Wilkins coming on to be a defensive analyst here for new head coach Sherrone Moore in Michigan. So let me know what you guys think about that, as Wink Martindale and Kevin Wilkins reunite again, this time at Michigan. And another thing I wanted to talk about is a former Michigan safety, Brad Hawkins, as he will be returning to Michigan as a graduate assistant. Brad Hawkins was a great player here at Michigan. Throughout his career, he totaled 178 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 8 pass breakups, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 fumble recovery. And we obviously all remember that great defensive play he made against Nebraska in 2021 that basically won Michigan the game. And if not for that play, Michigan probably wouldn't have won the Big Ten and gone to the CFP that year. But Hawkins, he has spent the last 2 seasons on NFL practice squads with the Atlanta Falcons in 2022 and the New England Patriots from 2022 to 2023, but he will be coming back to Michigan to be a graduate assistant. Pretty cool there. Let me know what you guys think about that as well. It's also come out that Michigan has officially hired Greg Scruggs as an assistant coach, as he will be Michigan's next defensive line coach. I think Michigan definitely knocked it out of the park with this hire. Obviously, losing Mike Elson was a huge hit. You know, he was a great recruiter, also a fantastic coach here. But Greg Scruggs, you know, even though he is young, he doesn't have as much experience, he is still an outstanding recruiter. He has developed some players, especially when he was at Cincinnati, and obviously while he was there, Cincinnati went to the college football playoffs in 2021. While he was at Cincinnati, he recruited and developed standout tackle Dante Corleone Jr., as well as some NFL draft picks like Curtis Brooks and Micah Sanders. And then another coach, or I guess not coach, but Michigan's new general manager, Sean McGee, has also shown up in the Michigan staff directory, and Michigan apparently has officially hired him as their new general manager. And obviously we talked about him before. He comes from the Chicago Bears, where he was the chief of staff there. Now, the football general manager role is responsible for directing all aspects of recruiting prospective student athletes to the University of Michigan football program, and also will lead Michigan football's name, image, and likeness activities. It's something that Michigan definitely needed, and they finally got one. A new general manager that will help tremendously with recruiting in NIL. So those are a couple of officially hired coaches or people here at Michigan now, and we also got more coming, but some good news there. I also wanted to talk about the NFL Combine, but first I wanted to talk about what players and coaches said there surrounding the Michigan football program. And the first is Michigan head coach Sherrone Moore, as he was there on the broadcast and kind of got, a little interview. Now, he first talked about, how many players that both him and Coach Jim Harbaugh realized that could get drafted this season. And he said last year, as we got into January, we had, I think, 5 or 6 guys leave. And then all of a sudden, Coach Harbaugh mentioned it. He's like, we're going to have 20 guys drafted. You look at it, you go down the list and look at all the guys that can potentially get drafted, and we knew we'd had a whole bunch of guys here. Sherrone Moore also talked about sustaining the Michigan success. He said, I think first it starts with how Coach Harbaugh started the program and how he's built it, and I just want to continue to keep that consistency and keep that drive with toughness. Talking about the players, he said, all these guys love football. They're constantly studying football. They're constantly wanting to play football and get better at it. And I think that's really the point, the piece that has really helped us get ahead. He also said, just like we do every year, we're just going to work. We're not going to say much. We're just going to let the results and everything speak for themselves on the field and just keep going to work. He said, we're a blue collar type program. We're not going to open our mouths and talk. We're just going to go to work and then show what we can do when it comes time in September. Now, JJ McCarthy also said to NFL Network, on people thinking Michigan is due for a down year, he said, keep thinking that, because I've got a feeling that there's a lot of hungry dudes that are hearing that every single day, and it's fueling them even more. So let me know what you guys think about that. I also wanted to talk about how some Michigan players did at the Combine. We're not going to go over all of them because there is obviously 18 players there. We're going to be going over the key ones, and first with JJ McCarthy. And I tell you what, he was throwing dimes out there. He had a great Combine, was making great throws out there, and he got a lot of high praise from a lot of people as his draft stock continues to rise. There's plenty of interest in him. McCarthy even confirmed 11 meetings with NFL teams. There's even NFL evaluators that said that of all these guys, McCarthy translates to the NFL the most. He also threw the second fastest football, I believe, right behind Joe Milton, who obviously was a former Michigan quarterback who transferred to Tennessee. But yeah, JJ McCarthy had an outstanding Combine. Might have been the best out of all quarterbacks, as some were saying, but you just love to see it. Obviously, here at Michigan, you don't throw the ball that much, but I tell you what, when JJ McCarthy did throw the ball, he was outstanding, especially this past season. You could see some throws that were NFL-type throws and plays that he was making out there. Now, Michigan wide receiver Cornelius Johnson also had a good Combine as well, as he actually had a top 1% Combine all-time performance for wide receivers, as according to Relative Athletic Score. They combine all testing metrics used at the Combine and creates a set of data points to rank performances, and he scored an unofficial 9.90 out of a possible 10, and he ranked 32 out of 3,063 wide receivers from 1987 to 2024. So very cool there. Blake Corum was also a big winner of the weekend. He ran a 4.53 second 40-yard dash, and what he really impressed at was during the position drills. There's even a video of Blake Corum and Marshawn Lloyd, the USC running back, and Blake Corum flew through the off-tackle reaction drill, and even though Lloyd had a faster 40 time, Corum showed that he had a much better reaction time, cutability, and elusiveness, and that's really what he's known for. So really cool there. Mike Samerstill also had a good Combine as well, as he has potentially established himself as the top nickel back in the draft, and tons of other players obviously were at the Combine as well. And Michigan has the potential to break the record for the most players drafted by a school in a single NFL draft, and I think they may be able to break that this upcoming draft, so we'll see. But with that, that's gonna wrap up today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure you guys go ahead, drop a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more if you are new around here. I greatly appreciate it. But other than that, we will see you guys in the next video. Go Blue.